Hello Monochrome viewers, we are in Geneva for the Geneva Watch Days and the Monochrome team has come to me to discover and present to you the Rattrapante Antarctique. That's the latest creation of Czapek, and we're going to see together what makes it so unique. So behind the watch there is always a story. Our stories are often the stories of friendship. And here there is a story of friendship with my oldest friend who actually bought one of the earliest Czapek watches of the rebirth, of the revival. It was a prototype made on a 7733 Valjoux with a beautiful set of levers. And this chronograph was so impressive when you were looking at the case back that it gave a lot of reactions and gave us the idea of flipping the chrono upside and show it through the dial, or eliminate the dial if you want. And so we started working on that project for many, many years because we could not find the right equation, the right way to express it. So we started in 15, it didn't work. We started in 17 again, didn't work out. And then in March 2019, seated with Jean-François, we found the way to do it, which was actually by creating an even more complex chronograph, which was a split-second chronograph. So last year, in the middle of the pandemic, we had to launch, people would be surprised why we had to. But we had to because the odds of the future was very uncertain. The odds of surviving to the pandemic when you're a very, very small company. So that was really a stressful period. And we analyzed and we said, fortune favors the brave, let's go out. We launched the watch, and finally the Antarctique was born. And it was a huge success because suddenly everybody was saying, yeah, great, someone is moving, you know, and people loved it. When we saw that success, we felt that the project of the split second was best fitted to be launched with the Antarctique, and that it would become the first brother or sister of the original Antarctique, which is a time and date or a time only watch. And it's true that when you look at the levers, the distribution, the aesthetics, the architecture, it's a very modern architecture. And that's the twist we wanted to give from a design angle to this haute complication. It's a classic haute complication expressed in an extremely modern way. This is typically Czapek because we still have some element of the classicism, but we also see the different elements of the modernity. Now let's look at the technical part of the Rattrapante, of the split second. We have to start first with the chronograph. What is a chronograph? It's a stopwatch. You have to connect the second of the chronograph with the second of the watch. And for that you have a clutch. On the other side, you have a hammer that serves to reset. How do you reset? Well, in between the second of the chronograph has a wheel that has a very special shape. We call that the heart. And the heart, because of its shape, can be reset by the hammer. Once you take the time and stop, you need to push back the hammer, and the hammer resets the watch. Let's do it. Done. And you see there is like a ballet in the watch. And that was the concept we had. We wanted to show all these movements very visibly with a big contrast between the plate of the module and the different elements which are radiated. Now let's look at the Rattrapante. What is the Rattrapante? It's a second hand that is just below the chrono hand. And it's moving at the same pace. And at one point you want to have a lap time. And when you want to have the lap time to stop, you stop that hand. And the other one continues. How do you stop it? With clamps. These two clamps, they come in the middle here. And when you press, you see the clamp blocking the cylinder or releasing the cylinder. When you release, you have to jump back. To jump back, you need a lever, and this lever is inside the cylinder. The specificity of this watch is to have special clamps, special cylinder, and special lever on top of that. So all this is commanded by column wheels, which are like the center of the brain of a chronograph, and you have two of them, one for the chrono and one for the Rattrapante. So this very unique mechanism of Rattrapante, of split second, is actually the first lever that you see in the center. And you can only hardly see it, but you can see it from the side. You see the cylinder, you guess where the lever is. But what you see on top of it is another mechanism, is the minuterie mechanism. And all of them are below a tripod. That is very singular, very unique, typical of that watch. And the reason is that we wanted to miniaturize all these elements to keep them into a relatively normal diameter. It's a 42.5 millimeter watch, so it fits really every man's wrist, nearly, I would say. But it's a very easy wear watch. And the case itself got its inspiration from the Antarctic case. So when you look at the two, you see one is higher, and it's with the glass box, it's significantly higher. But without the glass box, we are just in 10 millimeter. So it's a height that is visually completely acceptable. It's a wear that is very easy. You don't feel that you have such a high dome on the wrists. And this dome also gives you the chance of having a deep view. It's really the sensation of depth that we wanted to express with this watch. So we created with Chronode the module, but we also created with them the movement, because one of the specificity of the split second is the need for torque. We had to conceive a caliber that was delivering enough torque so that every movement was perfectly executed. And you see actually at 9 o'clock, you see the wheel of the second that is powering the rest of the mechanism. So thank you, Monochrome, for your support of the independent. Being an independent is a fantastic journey, a difficult journey. We hope that this Rattrapante is making you discover a beautiful haute complication, and we hope to see you soon. Bye.